est-ce qu'on allait prendre la route de l'aventure? Ah, mais c'est le président. Un pauvre qui vote pour celui qui l'a rendu pauvre. Si on était bien au pays, est-ce qu'on allait prendre la route de l'étranger? Ah, mais c'est le président.
Good day to the beautiful people of the Cameroons. Good day to the beautiful people of British Southern Cameroon and the beautiful people of La République du Cameroun. Ladies and gentlemen, the name today is Bello Bouba Maigari. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a party political broadcast by myself, Maître Mola Alex Ndive Lisinga, the leader of British Cameroon National Party. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in the history of the Cameroons, ever since the reintroduction of multi-party politics, people have started talking about projet de société. Let me call it manifesto, or talking about what they are going to do. This is something I've been calling for from time immemorial, because we have been having politics of personality called since the reintroduction of multi-party politics in 1992. So British Cameroon National Party have been calling for debate and will continue to call for that debate, because in a democracy, in politics, you scrutinize, you criticize people's manifesto or projet de société, as some La République people they call it. So today, I will be telling you why Bello Bouba Maigari, the president of UNDP, is not fit to be a president. I understand he made some press statement a couple of days ago. Mr. Bello Bouba Maigari, from the proposal that is given, if I was a president of a country, he will not be a minister, he will not be a governor, he will not be a prime minister, all the posts that he has been there. He has exposed himself as a political numbskull and obscurantist. He sounds to me like a novice. Bello Bouba Maigari is somebody who joined Union of the People of Cameroon in 1960. I was not born. He was doing politics. I was not born. Minister Bello Buba joined the Union of the People of Cameroon political party in 1960. When his friend, President Ahmadou Ahidjo of La République du Cameroun, banned all the political parties in the Cameroons in 1966, Mr. Bello Buba joined CNU. CNU, which is now CPDM, chop people the money. So Mr. Bello Buba joined CPDM in 1966. Some of you will say, oh, there was no CPDM in 1966. Ladies and gentlemen, CNU is CPDM. If I change my name from Maître Mola Alex Diveli Singer to George Lissinger, I'm still the same person. I've just changed the name. So whether it's CPDM, CNU, Bello Buba joined CPDM in 1966. That's CNU. He served as administrator and a minister. That is the change you want to bring in 2025. I will tell you why Mr. Bello Buba should resign and go and stay in his village in Garawa. In 1982, at the age of 35, he was a boy. Let me call it boy. Because today in the Cameroons, people who are 50, 55 years, they call them youth in Cameroon. So at the age of 35, when Bello Buba was a small boy, he became prime minister under Mr. Biya's presidency. I say he was a boy because 55 in Cameroon, they call themselves youth. So at 35, you should be a boy. So a boy was made prime minister in 1982 under Mr. Biya's government. Today, if you are 60, you cannot even be a wash night in the Cameroons. Ladies and gentlemen, in 1984, Mr. Bello Bouba Maigari was made Minister of Transport. At some stage, he went and joined his former party. CNU rebranded CPDM. When you enter a coalition, ladies and gentlemen, take note. These people, they enter coalition, what? They are going back to their party. The multi-party politics in Cameroon is not really multi-party politics. Because when Mr. Biya introduced multi-party politics, all these CNU, CPDM people, Bello Buba, Chiruma, John Fundi, they left CNU. They went and created political parties. And whether it's Bello Buba, whether it's Chiruma, whether it's late John Fundi, they ended up back to their old party. That's CNU rebranded CPDM. So we are still to have democracy in the country. And that's why, as a leader of British Cameroon National Party, I want to introduce real politics, real party politics, bring institutional change in the Cameroons. So let's dwell back to the topic of today. Why Minister Bello Bouba Maigari is not fit to be a president or even a minister, to my opinion. In a press conference, rather, in the Cameroons, Minister Bello Bouba Maigari said he's going to call a genuine, inclusive national dialogue. Ladies and gentlemen, Minister Bello Bouba Maigari was present at the major national dialogue in 2019, called by his colleague, Masabia. Mr. Bello Bouba Maigari have never said the major national dialogue was not genuine. It was not inclusive. But he's saying it today. Can we trust him? No. The aim of the major national dialogue, he says, he will call it because he wants to resolve the Anglophone problem. I believe in a sovereign national conference. I don't believe in national dialogue. Sovereign national conference where nobody will be above the conference. If you ask Mr. Bello Bouba Maigari what is the Anglophone problem, he doesn't even know. He has never talked about the Anglophone problem since 1960. The Anglophone problem was caused by people like Mr. Bello Bouba Maigari, Ahidjo, Paul Biya, and the rest. They caused the Anglophone problem. Mr. Bello Bouba Maigari have never questioned in 1959 when President Ahidjo of La République du Cameroun surrendered the sovereignty of La République du Cameroun to France. Surrender the independence of La République du Cameroun to France. France is controlling our monetary policy, interest rate, determine inflation, determine devaluation, manufacture our money, determine growth and stability is France. We don't have a central bank. No country can survive without a central bank. Minister Bello Bouba Maigari have never talked about a central bank. They have never complained. My point is, he doesn't know the Anglophone problem. Most people think the Anglophone problem is a form of a state. The Anglophone problem is the problem of annexation. If you think the problem of Anglophone is the form of a state, how can you solve the problem if you don't know its annexation? So Mr. Bello Buba is not fit, despite the fact that he has been in power since 1960. He's not competent, to my opinion. They are not fit. They cannot debate. If I invite Mr. Bello Buba, let's stand on a live television and debate, they will not be able to do it. Old school. Mr. Bello Bouba Maigari should resign and hand his party to somebody else. He's somebody when Mr. Samuel Eboa was leader of his party, they kick him out shamelessly. These are people who were lucky to be in a position at a certain time, at the age of 35. He was not prime minister because he was competent. He was prime minister because Mr. Biya was looking somebody who come from Garoua to please the Ahidjo's people. It was not out of meritocracy. It was out of fear. Mr. Biya, it be the fear people them for Garoua. So you get to find a man for they put them for they. So as I am talking, you cannot solve an Anglophone problem that you don't know what is Anglophone problem. Mr. Bello Buba, La République and France have annexed British Southern Cameroon. Two countries that came together. Two countries with different political authority. Two countries with different territory. Two countries with a different population. Today, we have one La République star. Today, we have the name of your country in 1960, La République du Cameroun. Where is British Southern Cameroon? So, Mr. Bello Buba, come out clear. How are you going to solve a problem that you cannot even identify the problem? Go on retirement. Go and retire. Ladies and gentlemen, as if this was not enough to shame us Anglophones, Mr. Bello Bouba Maigari said he was going to pass an amnesty for people who have been detained because of offense of their opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, you can never pardon a person who have not committed a crime. If you look at Article 65 of the Constitution of La République du Cameroun, in the preamble, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, you are entitled to your political ideology. You are entitled to your religious belief. You are entitled to participate in politics. So how can you pardon somebody who is practicing his constitutional right, Mr. Bello Buba doesn't seem to understand the constitution of La République du Cameroun. Go on retirement, resign. Ladies and gentlemen, I would have expected Minister Bello Bouba Maigari to say, I will release all those innocent people who were in prison because of their political opinion, and we are going to compensate them for unlawfully imprisoning them. But he said, I will pardon them for the offense they committed for having an opinion. This man is not fit to be a president. Go and resign in Garoua. Go for retirement. Ladies and gentlemen, if you ask an average Cameroonian, what do you want? I want food. I want shelter. I want water. I want good roads. I want good hospital. I want electricity. Basic necessity of life. But Mr. Bello Bouba Maigari says, I am going to return the body of President Ahmadou Ahidjo. To do what? How does it concern a common man? And give him official funeral. People are dying in the Cameroons because of bad roads, no water, no electricity. You are there, you want to please the dead. President Ahidjo, with all due respect to the family, they have money, it is their father. Nobody has stopped them to go to Senegal and bring their father's remains back to the Cameroons. You cannot use taxpayers' money. You don't go to government to try to look after the dead instead of the living. You give him full honors because of Cameroonian history. Minister Bello Buba, one man's meat is another man's poison. Some people will glorify Ahidjo. Some people, Ahidjo makes us sick. Ahidjo was the architect of the annexation of British Southern Cameroon. President Ahidjo of La République du Cameroun signed a cooperation agreement in 1959 with France and surrendered the sovereignty of La République du Cameroun to France and the independence. France shall manufacture our money. Ahidjo gave it to them. France shall determine our educational system at all levels. ENAM, EMIA, ENS, Gendarmerie, Military Tribunal, all from France. All from France. France shall determine our socio-cultural and political orientation. Look, all French countries, Ivory Coast, all of them, doing all the orientation, French thing, dictatorship, 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 all Francophonie, satellite state of France. Macron is the de facto president of them. He wants to bring Ahidjo's body. Some of us, we are going to be very frightened. Ahidjo assassinated our patron. Assassinated a teacher, Paul Biya. Put him on firing squad with France. They killed somebody's child because of President Ahmadou Ahidjo. You want to honor him? President Ahmadou Ahidjo with France. They connived to kill Felix Moumi. They poisoned Felix Moumi in Belgium. You want to honor Ahidjo? President Ahidjo connived with France. They shot Nyobe in the Cameroons. These are people who wanted independence. For those of you who don't know, in 1955, the UPC declared the independence of La République du Cameroun, called La Proclamation. That is their real independent day. The one on the 1st of January, 1960, was given to them by their colonial master, which is not really independent. The Umnyobe, the Ernest Wanji, the Felix Mumi, and the others, they declare independence of La République du Cameroun in 1955. La Proclamation, because of Ahidjo. Ahidjo is a puppet. Ahidjo have destroyed Cameroons. And if I should be in a position as a president, we are going to dig Ahidjo's grave. There's something called posthumous trial. In British law, you can try a dead person. Somebody who is dead, you can still try him. We are going to try President Ahidjo for treason. So many people have died because of Ahidjo surrendering the sovereignty of La République du Cameroun and making France to annex us. Parfonja made it clear. The day the British left British Cameroon, Ahidjo forced the gendarmes to cross the border without any agreement. That is called annexation. We don't want Ahidjo in that country. Some of you love him out of sentiment. I'm speaking. Ahidjo destroyed us. So Bello Buba is your master. You're associating yourself with him because he comes from Mariwa, because he made you to be minister. He gave you all the things. You are who you are today, not because of meritocracy, but because of man no man. Instead of Minister Bello Buba talking about what they will do for the people of the Cameroons, his own is talking all about dead people. We are going to rehabilitate members of the heroes for the struggle for independence. Ladies and gentlemen, we might do that one day, but that's not our priority. Our priority is for Reme. People who Reme no de, Repe no de. Buy and sell them. Chukhead. Those are the things we should be talking about. Good hospital, good roads, creating jobs. He's talking all about bringing Ahidjo's cup, a dead man. Honoring our hero. Ladies and gentlemen, it's good to honor Ernest Wanji, Umnyobe, Nde Tumazang, and the rest. But that's not our priority. The scale of preference is to call a sovereign national conference. Is to have an elected constituent assembly. That's what we need. Honoring Umnyobe, Ernest Wanji, Nde Tumazang, Felix Mumi, it's not the scale of preference. It's not our priority. We are going to do that. I have been honoring Ernest Wanji every day in my life. I respect him. I have been respecting Umnyobe, Felix Mumi, Nde Tumazang, and the rest. I've been respecting all of them. I even wrote the book. Where's my book? Yeah. I wrote this book. All of them that they were killed by President Ahidjo, their names are here. I honor them in my book. The Last Alternative, What Hope for the Cameroon. So if it is today that you know you have to honor these people, then you are a fly upon a pile of shit. I honor them in my book. I wrote this book 30 years ago. So it's not a matter of coming to talk about people that some of us, we have been honoring them all of our life. They were inspiration to us. Because today, at the age of 78, you want to be president. You come and be talking, calling their names. This is it. I honor them. Some of their name, I should read it. They were sentenced to death. Ernest Wanji was sentenced to death. Yasem Mathieu and Forcing Raphael sentenced to death. Life imprisonment. Monseigneur Dormo, 20 years imprisonment. Takre Laurent, Jumesi Matthias, 10 years imprisonment. Minkan Robert, blah, blah, blah. I honor all of them in my book. They are here. I wrote this book, The Last Alternative, What Hope for the Cameroons, 30 years ago. So we don't need your honor now. We, the people of good faith, we always have Ernest Wanji, Umnyobe, Nde Tumazang, Felix Mumi in our hearts of hearts. So we don't need you to do that. Go to Mariwa. Retire. Ladies and gentlemen, Minister Bello Bouba Maigari said, I'm going to revise the constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, we have gone past that stage that one man will tell us what to do. We want a sovereign national conference. We need an elected constituent assembly where all the people of British Southern Cameroons, the people of La République du Cameroun will send our representative. We are going to talk about all the ethnicities in the Cameroon. The 250 ethnicities will have different custom and tradition. You are not the one. You're not God. Don't tell us you will revise the constitution. But what do you want to revise? You have been there since 1960. You keep on gerrymandering, tampering with the constitution. 1972, we were annexed. Article 47 said, don't change the federal constitution, the form of state. You change it. You came again 1984, Mr. Biya seceded from United Republic of Cameroon, and you went back to your name, which means you seceded. But you did not allow British Southern Cameroons to go. What did you do? You annexed us. Can you pay 1960 to now more than 60 years of our life that you have destroyed? We don't want to hear you people again. Allah, go to your village in Marwa. We don't want to hear. Look at what he's saying. I will reduce presidential term and strengthen the power of the parliament. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't care about presidential term. We of British Southern Cameroons, we want a parliamentary form of government. We don't care about your president. We want a parliamentary form of government where the person who have got majority members of parliament will form a government. With a parliamentary form of government, people like Bello Buba, Paul Biya, Chiruma, all those people, they will not be able to be members of parliament because they cannot talk. In a parliamentary system, the Anglophone problem will not go that long that they will not debate it in parliament. We don't want another God that will come and say, I want to do this. If you reduce term of office, we don't care. With a parliamentary system, parliament governs the country. The prime minister is just a chairman. Then you have cabinet, they rule the country. With a parliamentary system, if there is no road, the MP will come to parliament, he will talk. They represent their constituency. With a parliamentary system, if there is an accident on the road, they will come in parliament and argue, debate, and look for solution. We don't want presidential system. Keep it in La République du Cameroun. We want a government that debates every day. If you are a prime minister, you were selected, you were elected. Today they can elect you a prime minister. If people are not happy, we don't need term of office. They remove you the next day. We had a prime minister in England that was there, Liz Truss, for 45 days. We have removed how many prime ministers for a very short period of time? Boris Johnson. The Cameroon left long ago. David Cameron is only 58 years. But Bello Buba is 78. The last prime minister was Richard Suna. He's 45 years old. 45 years old. He was a prime minister. He's 45 years old. Bello Buba is 78 years. He started working top position in 1960. Till today, he's still working. So we don't want your strong parliament to give power. We want parliamentary system where people will vote for people that they trust, who can go to the parliament and work for them. Minister Chiruma says, I'm going to give the judiciary real independence. So he has been working since 1960, for more than 60 years in a top position. He knows that the judiciary hasn't got real power, but he's still working. What have you been doing there? If I'm working in a system that is not genuine, that is not working, I will resign. But you're there, you have been eating, feeding fat with your family. Resign and hand over UNDP to somebody. Minister Bello Bouba Maigari. He's talking about electoral code, greater fairness and transparency. So you have been in government, in Ahidjo's government, in Mr. Biya's government for more than 60 years. So you don't know that the electoral code is not fair and is not transparent. So you knew that they were going to kick Maurice Kamto out because it's not fair and transparent. So why did you not come and talk about it? Minister Bello Bouba Maigari, go back to your village. Hand over UNDP to the next generation. Stop destroying the Cameroons, greedy people. Ladies and gentlemen, Minister Issa Chiruma says he will call another national dialogue to discuss the form of a state. Ladies and gentlemen, you're calling a national dialogue to talk about the form of state for what? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm an experienced constitutional law lawyer. Yes, I can call experts to talk about it, but let me tell you, sometimes you don't need everybody to draft a constitution. You can close my eyes, I will draft a constitution. Let me tell you how they draft a constitution. If you call a national dialogue, you call people who don't understand how to draft a constitution, how does it help us? Ladies and gentlemen, the form of a state, it says including federalism, say no topic will be left out. So they know you cannot talk about federation because why? They have concentrated power in their hands. I was talking about drafting a constitution. The first point of call, what do you do if you want to draft a constitution? You don't need to call the whole country. You ask yourself, is the Cameroons, is it a homogeneous nation or is it a heterogeneous nation? Homogeneous means they have similar characteristics. Example, a homogeneous nation to me could be a little bit, not 100%. Senegal, their culture is similar. It's homogeneous. Heterogeneous means it's different, like the Cameroons. We have two countries that came together, two inherited culture, French and English. French institution, English institution, they have suppressed and annexed the English institution. So you look at those ones. Then you look at our ethnicities, 250 ethnicities. So it means what? We are a heterogeneous nation. Heterogeneous nation means that we are not alike, we are not similar. So you spot that. Do you need a national debate to know that one? No. The next part is, take note, you don't give federalism transfer of power to, it's not about region. You look at the culture of the people. Even decentralization, they gave it to Scottish people, not to the region. Scotland is one region, but they gave decentralization because of Scottish culture. They gave decentralization to Ireland because of Irish culture. If you come to English, they give it to English because they are different people with different culture. So in the case of the Cameroons, if you want to talk about decentralization, federalism, confederation, you look at the two countries. Okay, this side we have French institution, France CFA, ENAM, all from France, Institut Pasteur, all those their structure, you look at it. You go to British Southern Cameroon, we have police, we don't have gendarme, we don't have bees. We are different, we have a different legal system. Then you focus the constitution on the two culture first. Then you go now to the second step. We have different ethnicities. You look at it, then you can make the ethnicities to be autonomous. Example, if we have to have a parliament, La République will have their own parliament because they have a different French system. British Cameroon will have a parliament. And parliament is not, as some people are confused. Oh, we don't want Northwest, we don't want Southwest. Parliament is not whether it's Northwest or Southwest. It's about our similar educational system, our similar judicial system, our similar policing, all those our thing is to debate it. It's not whether you are Bakwere or Mayemen or whatever. That's not it. So some of you confuse. Those your divide and rule from La République du Cameroun. You confuse. When you don't know something, don't talk about it. Go and read and learn. So you give Some people say, oh, is it going to be 2-state federation? Is it going to be 10-state federation? It can be 1 million state federation, but first, they have to recognize the 2 countries. Scotland is 1 region today in Scotland. They have 1 region in Scotland. Maybe 1 or 10 or 20 years time, Scotland could have 2 regions. In maybe 50 years time, Scotland could have 10 regions. It's administrative unit. So we are not talking about regions here. We are talking about 2 countries. So those 2 countries or states must be there first. Then we can start talk about whether we want to distribute power. Whether the power goes to whether we want 1 centralized party like now, that 2 countries must still be existing. Whether we want federation or decentralized, that 2 countries must still be existing. Whether we want confederation, those 2 countries, we must identify it. Mr. Bello Buba, you don't know this, you are old school, you should go to village and retire. Hand over your chairmanship to somebody else. So no topic will be excluded. 1960 to 1920, you are still working. Go to your village. Mr. Bello Buba talk about to revive the economic growth, create employment, stop poverty, all whatnot about this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, Minister Bello Bouba Maigari is lying. You cannot revive a country without a central bank. France is in the European Union. France is in the Eurozone. The Eurozone have got a central bank for this European euro, their money. But France have still got a Republican bank called Banque de la France. La République du Cameroun is in Biak. Biak have got a central bank, but La République du Cameroun have not got a central bank because why? France is controlling the economy of La République du Cameroun. We don't have a central bank. A central bank plays a very vital role of a country. In order to revive growth, as Minister Bello Bouba Maigari talk about, you need a central bank. So how can you determine your monetary policy, your interest rate, lending rate, talk about devaluation, the supply of money, promote growth, employment? You can't do it because it is the function of a France. If Minister Bello Bouba Maigari should come and tell us that I will withdraw from Biak and create a central bank so that I can control growth, I can create employment, I can control money supply, I can bring stability in the economy. You are not saying that. Ladies and gentlemen, that is why I say it is people like Bello Bouba Maigari who are not competent. Because they have stayed there for how long as minister, it doesn't mean they are competent. The Cameroon is so bad as a country because you take incompetent people like Minister Bello Bouba Maigari and put them prime minister, minister of transport. They don't have a clue on how to run a country. So ladies and gentlemen, as I speak today, I know in the Cameroons, people are not used to with democracy. When I mean democracy is not just election. When you put your manifesto or project the society in public, other party, they have to come and criticize it, scrutinize it. You are free to scrutinize my own policy. You have a right to do that. Politics is not hatred. I don't hate Minister Bello Bouba Maigari. I know him personally, but I am a different political party, and it is my duty to challenge his ideology. It is not hate, ladies and gentlemen. That is how we do politics in British Southern Cameroons. We learn it from Britain, and we are a democratic nation that have been annexed by La République du Cameroun and France. So once more, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a party political broadcast by myself, Maître Mola Alex Ndiver Lissinger, the leader of British Cameroun National Party. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Un pauvre qui vote pour celui qui l'a rendu pauvre. Si on était bien au pays, est-ce qu'on allait prendre la route de l'étranger? Monsieur le président, à l'Assemblée, il y a un vieux. Vraiment. Au Sénat, il y a un vieux. Wonderful. À la présidence, il y a un vieillard. Dans tous nos gouvernements, il n'y a que des vieux, des vieux, des vieux. Des jeunes prennent le chemin de la Libye pour devenir des esclaves. Les jeunes prennent la route du désert pour entrer en Europe. À l'Assemblée, il y a un vieux, son nom Touko. Au Sénat, il y a un vieux. À la présidence, il y a